Welcome to Business Innovators Radio, featuring industry influencers and trendsetters sharing proven strategies to help you build a better life right now.
Hello and welcome to this episode of our program. This is Mike Saunders with Marketing Huddle, and today we're privileged to have with us Dr. Richard Shane, who is the founder of Sleep Easily. Welcome to the program, Dr. Shane.
Thank you, Mike. Thanks for having me.
Hey, so obviously the name of your business, Sleep Easily, infers that you do things to help people with sleep. So can you give us a little bit of an introduction of your background and how you got started in the sleep world?
Okay, thanks for having that be the first question, because it's been a fascinating journey. I've been a psychotherapist since the late 1970s. And in the early 90s, I had a life crisis, and I developed horrific insomnia, like sleeping 3 hours a night. I first reacted with fear and anger, like most people do, but then somewhere in there, I took it on as an opportunity. Could I explore my own insomnia kind of from the inside out and see if I could discover something about how sleep happens? I did that for years. It was grueling, slow progress, but what finally emerged, Mike, is I discovered just certain body sensations that create the body feeling of falling asleep. And that's very different from relaxation, which is what most people try to do. And that then became the method, which I call Sleep Easily. And the hallmark of it is you don't have to quiet your mind, because that's what blocks most people with this. In the midst of your mind's busyness, there's a simple way to get the body feeling of falling asleep. And when you do, mind becomes quiet automatically.
Well, that's an interesting point, because I know that it's probably a widespread thought or misconception, you would call it, about quieting the mind. Because I know for me, and it sounds cliche to say this, but I've got so much on my mind I just can't sleep. Or I'm just laying there thinking about everything I have to do tomorrow, and I can't stop thinking about that, and it's keeping me from sleep. Where's the fallacy in that thought process? And then how does your program kind of say, that's fine, and we kind of addressed it a little, but it's not the main problem?
Yeah. So just piggybacking on what you just said, it's that complaint, and then people follow it with trying to quiet the mind. And as soon as you do that, it's just hopeless struggle. But you can't also just try to not quiet the mind. So the key here with the Sleep Easily method is simple way to get the body feeling of falling asleep. And when you do that, Mike, it's almost like, if your mind were talking about it, your mind would say, oh, I was looking for that feeling, and it just breathes a sigh of relief and gets quiet.
Well, isn't it kind of like the watched pot never boils? Or if you say to yourself, I will not stub my toe, I will not stub my toe, invariably you'll end up stubbing your toe because your mind hears stub your toe. And so in your example there, if you're saying, I must quiet my mind, I must quiet my mind, or you're thinking about it, or you're getting yourself worked up, it's counterproductive.
Mm-hmm.
And so your program gives a different type of trigger which helps you focus on something else other than, quote-unquote, quieting the mind. How does that work?
So everybody, even people with insomnia, have had the experience of falling asleep. So people talk about it, the feeling of falling asleep. So it's a feeling you already have. So when I show it to you in the method, it becomes very quickly a feeling of recognition, not a method anymore. Just, I remember that feeling. And then it's kind of like water running downhill. It's just easy because it's familiar.
Yeah, it really is something where you think about in your mind, if you were to take a lemon and hold it in your hand, you feel the ridges, and you grab a knife and you start cutting it, all of a sudden, many times your taste buds start to get stimulated because you're like, ooh, a lemon, and your mind is very powerful that way. So you're saying that if you can train yourself to think about the times that you have fallen asleep easily, and then using your method, then your body comes along with it because it's not out of character. In other words, if you made $20,000 last year and your goal is to make $120 million, your mind's not going to believe it because it's just too incredulous.
Mm-hmm. Yes, that's accurate, and it's even easier than how you described it because you don't have to think about times you've fallen asleep. It's just like when you walk. You don't have to think about times you walk. Your nervous system knows how to do that, and it's just I show you a very simple way to get in that pathway again, and even playing with words. It's not even thinking about it because if I say to you right now, feel your hands, you don't have to think about feeling your hands. You just feel them. It's really that simple.
Mm-hmm. So when you mention your background of being a psychotherapist, that's a clinical background, and I'm sure that you have written and read many clinical reports. So is there anything you can point to with your method that is not only, clients and patients that have said, yes, this works and it's wonderful, but is there any research studies that would be helpful that would substantiate this too as well?
Yes, there is. In a couple of years ago, well, let me just backtrack because it'll lead into the research study. So I changed my practice from just general psychotherapy to just working with insomniacs. And then I became the sleep therapist for Lutheran Medical Center Sleep Center, and now for New West Physicians. But all these years, Mike, one of my primary goals was, this is so simple, this method, because it doesn't involve hypnosis or anything like that. I want to create an at-home program so this could help millions of people worldwide. And I have done that, and that is the program that there was a study done a couple of years ago with the Sleep Easily Use at Home program tested by United Airlines pilots, Denver Police Department, Boulder firefighters, some veterans, general public, and in that 81.6% of the people, the participants reported improved sleep. Most of them reported they slept better within the first couple nights. And that study is available on our website. It's been published in the Journal of Sleep Disorders and Therapy. Link to it's available on our website. We can talk about that later. But yes, proof.
Yeah. That's seeing that kind of proof is so powerful because it's social proof, and it just lets people know that other people have tried it and they're not the first one. So that is just really, really good. You mentioned 5 triggers. What are those triggers, and how do those fit into your program?
Okay, so we call them the triggers because it's very much like cause and effect. Do this, and then this happens. So I'll give an example. I actually can teach your listeners one of the triggers because it's something they could use today. It might sound unusual, but just follow me with this. One of the out of stress, one of the ways people react to stress is they press their tongue against the roof of their mouth. It's kind of like bracing against stress. And what that actually does, just try it right now. You and your listeners, press your tongue against the roof of your mouth. And notice how that actually creates tension in your head, neck, shoulders, even in your mind and emotions. Now, allow your tongue to be calmer. Don't make it calmer. Just allow it to be calmer. And it can be anywhere in your mouth. It could even be lightly touching the roof of your mouth, just not pressing. And when you allow your tongue to be a little calmer, notice the effect that has on your head, neck, shoulders, mind, and emotions. That's an example of one of the physical triggers.
Yeah, that's a really, really good example. That worked for me. I was following right along with you, and it really is interesting. You don't feel that it would do that if you just heard it, but all of a sudden you're going, oh, yeah, it kind of is exactly what he's saying. That's really awesome. So with Sleep Easily, it's a program. What does that entail, and how do you use it?
Okay. I promise I'll answer that, but I just want to say one more thing about the tongue. Could I do that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So this is to you and especially to all your listeners. You got it now. So now just use that in your life periodically, even while your eyes are open and you're in the midst of activity. Allow your tongue to be a little calmer. You don't have to do it all the time, but just here and there, just doing that will calm your nervous system during the day. And you can use that on the way to sleep too. And the other physical triggers, we can talk about those in a little bit, but just use the tongue now. It's yours. relaxing your tongue. Use it for stress reduction. You don't need a timeout, a separate timeout, which we often don't do because we don't have time for that.
Mm-hmm.
While you're in the midst of activity, allow your tongue to relax.
Yeah, that's a really good point, because you think of some programs where it says, take 20 deep breaths and close your eyes. Well, that's wonderful, and it does relax you, but for the person that would say, I stay so busy I can't pause through the day and do that, but the tongue exercise, relaxation exercise, that's something that no one would know you're doing, and you can do while you're doing many activities, if not all.
Yeah. And let me just introduce, because you asked a few minutes ago, you asked, about the 5 triggers. Another one, which we won't do experientially, but it has to do with your heart. And if you think of it, if you're anxious, your heart beats more quickly. When you're calm, your heart beats more slowly and quietly. Well, Sleep Easily gives you a very simple way to get your heart to beat more slowly and quietly, and your heart is like this master switch in your nervous system. Heart calms down, everything calms down. And notice how we're not doing the old way of, go through your whole body, trying to relax all the body parts. Just a few key parts that's simpler.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I've said this so many times to people and seen it confirmed over and over, which is we as a society are overworked, overbusy. The time-saving devices that we have work, but they work in the opposite effect of what they're meant to be, which is they save us time, so we feel like, ooh, I can fit one more thing in, and I can get that done efficiently, and now I can fit one more thing in, and it makes us feel overwhelmed. So some of these things that you would say, a 45-minute meditation session sounds all great. Here's all the research to prove how beneficial that it is, but people would say, who's got 45 minutes? So when I hear you say easily, what a wonderful word you chose for your program, because people want something that's quick and that's easy, and we love that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that leads us back to the question you asked a moment ago about, what's the program, how do people use it? You get it online, and we'll talk a little later about how to do that. And when you receive it, well, the program, there's the method in which I teach you how to do it. And basically, it's so simple, but there's a recording where I guide you, walk you through the steps of the physical triggers, and very soon you can do it without the recording. It's that simple. And what's exciting for us is there's a completely new version of Sleep Easily in which the recordings come on this miniature audio player. It's like the size of 2 fingers, and in it has a built-in high-quality speaker. It's kind of astonishing. And you just press play, put it by your pillow, guides you to sleep, and as I said, very soon, it's just a familiar feeling. Then you can do it without the recording, but lots of people like to periodically keep using the recording because it just feels so good. And the guided process available in my voice and also a female voice, so you have choice. And most people sleep better the first night.
That's so neat, because it another aspect of that, which fits right into what I was saying before, is you don't have to do something different in your day. Like so many programs you hear, you have to do this and that and block out this much time. You're saying to do this as you're going to sleep. Well, you're already heading to bed anyway, so now you're just going to do this, and it helps. I think that we could probably talk for hours on end on the benefits of getting better sleep, so this just sets the stage for that. But my question there would be, what about how big of a problem in the United States, or is it 1 in 3, or is it 1 in a million of people that have this difficulty? You mentioned you had it, but what did your research show that people have a problem getting to sleep or having lack of sleep?
Well, the National Sleep Foundation, Mike, has done research, and they show that 1 in 3 people, it's like 85 million people, have one or more symptom of insomnia every night or every few nights. That's huge.
Yeah, that's a big number.
Especially scary if you get on a plane and look at your pilot smiling at you and think, I hope he got a good sleep last night.
Well, especially if there's 3 pilots, then you know one of them probably has had problems sleeping. That's and so 1 in 3. Is there more men or more women? Or is it evenly balanced?
It's slightly more women.
And does that then? So obviously, if it's more women and they see a better sleep, what then are the results that they're seeing? Because men would see results too, but is there a difference in the results?
No, very, very similar results, with the exception of one of the lead causes of women's sleep difficulty is menopause, and yet with that, when you sleep poorly, then you feel more vulnerable and you react more to discomfort, so it goes round and round. So just get somebody sleeping better, and they respond to life's difficulties with more ease.
It makes me think of another question, which is this a solution to help someone get to sleep faster, or is it a solution to help you sleep all the way through the night, or is it both?
It is both. It is to fall asleep more quickly and easily, and to fall back to sleep more quickly and easily. So good that you asked that, because the statistics show that for the majority of people, the problem is waking up too early and can't get back to sleep. Mm-hmm. And so with Sleep Easily, the first step is not sleeping through, but if you wake up, it gives you a way to get back to sleep again, and then you just get comfortable and familiar with that. Then you sleep more deeply, and you start to sleep through.
So then would that be the same process as when you initially went to sleep? If you were woken up in the middle of the night, would you then use the same process as earlier?
Yes, you use the same process, and it is so simple that once you get used to it, then what starts to happen is middle of the night you begin to feel yourself begin to wake up, and you start using the method without the recording, start using it on your own before you fully awaken, and you weave yourself back to sleep before you fully awaken, and the next morning when you realize you did that, puts a big smile on your face.
Neat. That's really awesome. So now we talked about patients with good results and some research. What is the medical community saying about your program? I'm sure that this is something that they are, loving the fact that maybe this is an alternative to maybe some prescription or over-the-counter solutions.
Great that you asked that, because it is a big discussion amongst doctors these days, because so many people want a prescription for sleep medication, but there's been enough horrific news about some of the unwanted side effects of sleep medication, sleep driving and things like that, that doctors don't want to keep prescribing sleep meds, and they're looking for alternatives. And I mentioned that I'm the behavioral sleep consultant for New West Physicians here in Colorado. Well, they have 85 physicians serving 170,000 patients, and they love the results their patients get with Sleep Easily. I have physicians from all over Colorado who refer patients to it, and it's only now that we are doing the outreach with the Sleep Easily at Home program, and I expect physicians nationwide and worldwide will be relieved to know that there's an effective non-medication solution.
Yeah, I would think that it would really spread well by word of mouth. And you mentioned the at-home solution. Before that came out, what was the solution that you offered?
Working with clients in person.
Oh, okay. So now this is a way that clients can take advantage of the Sleep Easily program. You've been, in essence, you've been doing one long, beta test with your personal consultations, and then when it got proven over and over again, now you just want to get it to a wider audience.
Correct. Yes.
Yeah. I just love the progression there. You initially had a problem. You researched it. You found a solution. You work with patients one-on-one over the years in your psychotherapy sessions, and now you see it proven, and now you're going, there's more people out there that have this, and what a wonderful solution that is. So for people wanting to learn more, what's the best way that they can learn more about Sleep Easily?
The website is sleepeasily.com, and we've really worked hard on it to explain it fully, so you get this, you get a good sense. And Sleep Easily comes with a money-back guarantee. I really like to make things just easy and attractive for people, so you got nothing to lose.
Excellent. Well, Dr. Shane, thank you so much for your time today. It was wonderful getting to know you and your wonderful program.
Okay. Well, you're very welcome, and I really invite your listeners, just go to sleepeasily.com, try it out, because it will change your life. And just one more thing, Mike. So many people in our culture, especially commercials, they use the term life-changing, but it's mostly overblown. It's not really. But when somebody can't sleep, it ruins almost every area of their life, and when they sleep better, it improves almost every area of life. So good sleep truly is life-changing.
I love it. Well, sleepeasily.com, I encourage everyone to go take a look at that, and how can you turn down a proven method to help you sleep better and with a money-back guarantee. So I just love it. So thank you so much for your time today.
You are so welcome. You have a great day, Mike.
Thanks for listening to Business Innovators Radio. To hear all episodes featuring leading industry influencers and trendsetters, visit us online at businessinnovatorsradio.com today.